Happy Throwback Thursday, and don't forget on Throwback Thursday, we occasionally do something called Junk Drawer FLIX. And on this episode of Junk Drawer FLIX, we do not need to go inside the junk drawer because technically we did a survey on this one almost 3 weeks ago. However, things have gotten in the way, but we're ready to do the review on this movie. And today's movie that we're going to do the review on, the 1986 supernatural horror sci-fi action film, The Wraith. The film has plenty of stars such as Charlie Sheen, a star from Twin Peaks, Sherilyn Fenn. The film also stars writer and director Nick Cassavetes as the main villain in this film. We also get Randy Quaid playing the tough but fair Sheriff Loomis. And most importantly, this film also stars Clint Howard. In the movie The Wraith, Charlie Sheen is a vengeful spirit, but he comes back, but doesn't necessarily look like his former self. However, when he comes back to take revenge, he has to take on a gang of street misfits who like to drag race. However, in this drag race, when you lose your car and possibly your life. And the best way to take on these road warriors is in a street race to the death. While each character of the street gang is getting killed one by one, not necessarily knowing that they're being killed by this vengeful spirit, this sheriff of this little Arizona town is not necessarily sure if he should go after this mysterious character that's wiping off this gang one by one, or maybe he should just be thanking him after all. As a kid growing up, I loved this movie and always thought this movie was underrated. What's more surprising is that most people have never heard of this movie, and they get more confused when I show them the cover, and they're like, okay, if this is like a supernatural kind of sci-fi ghost movie here, why is he dressed up like Mega Man? I'm like, I don't know, it just looks cool. It was the 80s. So let's dive in a little deeper into some 80s nostalgia with The Wraith. Now this title sequence is actually pretty cool. It's done by Peter Curran. He's actually done a lot of cool sequences like this before, like on such films as The Thing, RoboCop, Empire Strikes Back. Now you might think that's a comment, but that's actually actor Charlie Sheen running back and forth, Tiger's Blood. Now this is one of many drag racing scenes here, and this movie has a great, awesome 80s soundtrack, which is the reason why I can't play too many clips, because there's always a cool 80s song in the background, and I don't want to mess with copyright for music. Now here he is, the man himself, Wild Thing Ricky Vaughn. Just kidding. Charlie Sheen's character in this movie is named Jake. However, the character that he was originally was named Jamie. However, when he comes back, he looks a little different now. Now, this movie was scheduled right before Charlie Sheen went to go film the movie Platoon. However, unfortunately, they had a very limited amount of time with Charlie Sheen, supposedly, and apparently he was only on set for maybe 1 to 2 days, and they had to shoot all his scenes first. And when I did some reading, someone had pointed out, if you calculate as much screen time as Charlie Sheen has in the movie The Wraith, he's actually on the screen only for about 20, maybe 30 minutes tops. When the Wraith shows up to challenge the villains to some drag racing, we get some amazing drag racing shots here. We get some really good sped up scenes and the way the cars are weaving in and out of traffic. And it's only a 2-lane highway that we see our drag racing scenes taking place. However, unfortunately, while filming one of these amazing drag racing scenes, an assistant cameraman was killed, and his name was Peter Ingram. And unfortunately, he passed away while filming the movie. In my humble opinion, I think the movie The Wraith is very underrated. We get Randy Quaid in this film playing a very different character than we're used to seeing him play. We get some great car races and some great cinematography. This movie's not very long at all. It's an easy watch and it's just a fun thrill ride. And honestly, if you ask me, I really feel like Rotten Tomatoes is definitely wrong on this one. Or maybe it's just me. So go check out the movie and get some 80s nostalgia. Like I said, it's a short watch. It's an easy watch. It's only about an hour and a half. You get a great soundtrack. You get some great stars in this film. And go check it out. It's definitely underrated. Also, I'm not exactly sure where it's streaming. However, I believe if you rent it on Amazon, you could also buy it for $4.99. Once again, thank you for tuning in for another episode of Junk Drawer FLIX. Sorry it took a little long to get this online. And don't forget to hit like and subscribe. I'm Mike the Movie Misfit, and I'll see you guys at the movies.
Get more out of life. Go out to a movie.